G'day folks. Well, we've got us sitting in there now. Goodness me. I tell you what, you can't put the engine in with the transmission bolted up to it like you can traditionally do. It doesn't happen now with that modded sump. Oh goodness me. It was a pain. I had it all bolted up thinking I'd get it in there, but no, it wasn't going to happen. So I ended up unbolting it and dropping the engine in, and then sort of coming up from behind with the gearbox or transmission and doing it that way. It was a bit of a pain, but that's what happens when you modify things. It sometimes makes it a bit tricky to service. Alright, well, I've had a bit of a think about the diff, guys. I'm going to find some, well, try and track down some really good axles for now. I ended up getting a price of a floating diff housing with disc brakes, all sort of set up without a centre, and it was around $5,000. So I thought it was a little bit much too soon. I can get a nice set of axles for around the 1,000 mark. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to not bother with a floating full floater setup. I will do that, but at least for now the axles will get me out of trouble, give me some confidence, so I can get back out on the track. So that's what I'm going to do for now, and I will do the floater, but it may be a year or two before I sort of get to it, because I've got a lot of other priorities that I want to sort of focus on. And yeah, it's just more reliability that I want in those axles. I don't want to run them the way it is now. I'm really nervous on it, guys, if I push the car. So yeah, I think we'll focus on some, like I said, decent axles, and we'll go from there. Well guys, I've got a couple of things I'm going to do to the car. One in particular is very significant, and the others, well, important, but I'm going to start by putting on a torque strap. I had a fella comment on it, suggested that I put some sort of strap from the back of the engine onto the chassis, because I actually broke an offset stud, because I run an adapter plate, guys. This is a early Holden Trimatic pattern on the engine, and I'm running a Turbo Hydromatic 350, and so I've got to run an adapter plate. You can sort of see it down in there. It's around 20mm thick. Well, that gives me a chance to weld a lug off the adapter and make up a nice bracket off the chassis and do some sort of torque strap. But the problem is there, guys, it's going to interfere where I want to run the charge pipe. But that's actually a blessing in disguise, because what I want to do now is I want to run the charge pipe in through the firewall, in this sort of area through here, and in through the cab, a straight run, straight down, bypass the diff, and straight into the turbo. And that's going to save on a lot of bends, because the way it is now, it has to come up over the diff. It comes along, hits a 90-degree angle, makes its way out to the edge of the car, another 90, comes along up to the front. We've got another 90, and then we've got another 90, and we're about a 45, and we come up. So we've got 4 or 5 bends that I can get rid of by running it up through the cab. So that's what I'm going to do in the coming months. Once I get the engine sorted out and the tune and everything sort of happy, I'll progress on that front. Now guys, the big significant change that's going to happen in the next sort of 12 months is repositioning the turbo. I've had a lot of trouble. Well, I'm starting to have a bit of trouble now with exhaust system because of the length of it. It gets incredibly hot and it just grows so much. it grows around 40 millimetres. I've got two flexible, fairly big bellows underneath, which compress, I should say, around sort of 15 millimetres. And so that gives me sort of a total of around 30, but it's growing a little bit more than that. And it's starting to distort the exhaust system, and it's sort of putting a bit of pressure on the flanges, and I'm getting little leaks, really fine little leaks. And it's always been a sort of a patch-up thing and then go again for a while, and then I run into little issues with it. I mean, it's held up pretty well for 5 years, I can't complain. But for what I do with the car, guys, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I'm actually thinking of repositioning the turbo and putting him behind the driver's seat. It'll take off around 3, maybe 4 feet of exhaust tube. It's going to make it a lot simpler. And that's what I'm going to do, guys, because it's got a lot of benefits. I'll talk about it, look, in the next few vids, sort of over the next few weeks. I'll bring it up and explain a bit more what I want to do. I really need to think about it a lot more. And if I do decide to do it, it's going to happen around sort of next winter. It'll be a great little project. The benefits, oh God, look, have a think about it, guys. Shortening it up. I know a lot of the front mount guys will love it. I've got nothing against the rear mount. I love the rear mount setup. If this was a daily on the street, it'd be bloody fantastic. Or even a drag car, it'd be the ultimate for me. But because I circuit race the thing, guys, it really cops a beating, that exhaust system. And yeah, I've really got to the point now where, what do you do? What do you do? If I mount it behind the cab, well, for starters, it's going to be a shorter run straight to the turbo from the engine. The charge pipe will have a shorter run. I'll end up saving a lot of weight with not needing the piping. It's going to make it simpler to work on. It's just going to be incredible, guys. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's really given me an incredible boost in excitement and knowing, you know, that what sort of plan I've got for this car for the next sort of 12 months. It's quite phenomenal. I want to do a little bit more to suspension, and, you know, obviously when I do go down the road of the full floating, we'll have a disc rear end. So it's all a positive, guys. It's all, I've got a real, what would you call it, a real direction now on where I want to head with the car. And I feel that, you know, it's going to be an incredible boost in years to come. And I hope you follow my journey, guys. I really do, because I'm really pushing myself with this car and the learning. And it's amazing. It was a real amazing experience that that I'm applying here, and it's just fantastic. I really, truly love it. All right, well, I'm going to fire it up in the next couple of days, guys. What I'm going to do is I'll put the video camera up. I'll just set up the GoPro, and yeah, just before I'm about to start it, I'll flick him on, and you'll get to hear it, and I'll fluff around with the timing, and I've really got to bed that cam in pretty much straight away. But I'll have my son here as well, so I won't bore you with 20 minutes of running the cam in. But yeah, you'll get to see it and listen to it, and I can't wait, guys. I really can't. I'm really hanging out to see, or listen to see how this cam affects the engine. And yeah, that's a big win for me. I reckon it's going to really fly, you know, with this extra little bit of duration. She'll love it. All right, guys, we're not far off now. We're getting very close. Before I go, I'm going to take it to, we're having a Monaro Nationals. So a lot of mainland cars are coming down. And it's a 3-day event, I think. Anyway, one of the days, they're going out to Symmons. I think it's on a Sunday. And they're doing a day out there where they're going to have a little bit of a drive around the track and show the cars off. And so I'm going to take this down and sort of park it up and show it off. And I may even do a lap or two, just potter around. And yeah, I'll do some footage on cars, show you guys. what the Monaros are all about. They're a fantastic car in my book. I love them. Alright guys, well I'll pop one up soon. Catch yous later.